YouTube. So, I've had a subject come up. It's come up a couple of times. I went over this in previous videos. Um, don't mind my dog in the background. And it has been whether biodiesel is any good for your vehicle versus regular diesel. Now, I've spent months and months and months and months trying to get a clear answer. This is from my own research, but what it has boiled down to is biodiesel, at least like in my state, it's 5% biodiesel is mandatory. So every regular diesel station is going to carry up to a 5% biodiesel, so B5. And then there are a lot of stations that have 20% biodiesel. So you'll be running, so it's up to 20%, so it'd be an 80-20 mix, roughly. They always say up to 80%, or up to 20%, or up to 5%. So it could have 10% in it, and they're going to still call it B20. And what I have found is the B5 and the B20 don't seem to be much of a problem. Now, I caveat that with if your vehicle was pre-2010 or 2009, somewhere in there, the rubber lines were not meant to handle biodiesel. Biodiesel is somewhat corrosive because what they have to do to it to make it burn like diesel, those chemicals are more corrosive. So what you'll find, where a lot of people think it's like animal fat or fry fat or whatever, vegetable oil, it's clogging their filters. No, actually it's the junk out of their tank and the junk in their lines that tend to clog the filters. So what I found is, as long as you keep an extra set of filters and you run a cetane booster, so like I use Hot Shots, it's got a cetane booster and some other added benefits, lubricant and whatnot, you can actually do really well with biodiesel. My fuel economy isn't that much less. It is a little bit less, like 1%, but other than that, it's not that much less. And with the cetane booster, I don't really notice much of any performance benefit. What I do notice is my truck tends to run a lot quieter because it is more lubricant. It has more lubricity to it than regular ultra low sulfur diesel. So what I usually do is I'll run B20 normally, and then every fifth tank or so I'll run a regular B5 through it. And I check my lines. I haven't noticed any corrosion. I'm running a AirDog 100, and so I check my fuel filters. What I did is just to make sure that I'm getting good fuel pressure, is I put in a fuel pressure gauge right after the fuel pump. So that way when the fuel comes out, it will pressurize, and I can see if there's a drop in pressure. So with those things, I have not seen any loss in benefit, other than B20 tends to be anywhere from 10 to 20 cents cheaper than regular B5. So I would encourage you guys to do your own research, but like I said, the horror stories that I have heard about it gunking up just don't seem to be true. unless you're running a old filter and you're not keeping your filters changed out regularly. I change mine out every 5 to 10,000 miles, and just to make sure that I keep good pressure. And like I said, my fuel pressure gauge tells me if I'm starting to get low pressure coming out of my AirDog. So I would say B20 is a good option to use, especially if you can get it cheaper. You may want to run a cetane booster. You'll notice your injectors, at least in my truck, I notice my injectors run quieter. And it just seems to run overall smoother. So don't be afraid of it. Just keep an eye on your filters. Make sure you're changing your filters pretty regularly. And if you start to see a drop in fuel pressure, then grab a spare filter and change it out. Chances are it's got some gunk in it. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you. I just wanted to go over what I had found pertaining to biodiesel, and why I'm running it, and why I don't think that there's any harm in it. So again, do your own research, but I haven't found any downsides to running it, other than I save some money, and my truck runs quieter. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and y'all have an excellent night.